Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So for this week class, we will continue our lecture on chapter 3. So, okay, chapter 3 is describing data, data presentation. Okay, so in chapter 3, we will discuss how to present the data in a more informative way. So the purpose why we describe the data or why we present the data, because once the data is collected, okay, we will have a raw data in our hand. So the raw data need to be classified and organized in such way so it will become easily readable and interpretable. Okay, that or we want to convert the data from the raw data. We want to convert it into information. Okay, so basically before we do the calculation, okay, or we calculate the descriptive statistic, it is good to present the data in a graphical way so that we can see the information. We can easily see the information. Okay, so we present the data such in the form such as table, okay, chart, diagram, or graph. Okay, this is because most people, okay, find the picture to be more helpful than numbers, right? So before we do the calculation, we figure out the figure. It is good to present the data in a graphical way so that because the picture is more helpful than the numbers. Okay, and most people find it is easy to interpret the picture than the numbers. Okay. And from graphical presentation, also we can highlight the important features of the data. Okay, so in this chapter, we will discuss the types of data presentation for qualitative data and quantitative data. So for the first part, for this week class, we will discuss the qualitative data presentation first. Next week, we will continue with quantitative data presentation. Okay, so for qualitative data presentation, right, for the data presentation, we have two forms, two most commonly used form to present the data. There is tables and chart. Okay, so for qualitative data, for table, we have two types of table. We will discuss two types of table, frequency distribution table and also contingency table. Okay, and for chart, we will discuss two charts, that is bar chart and pie chart. Okay, so for this week, we will just discuss the data presentation for the qualitative variable. Okay, and I believe all this table and chart, you are familiar with it already. Okay, the frequency distribution, contingency table, bar chart and pie chart ni, all these table and chart, you are already familiar with it. So this will be just like a revision for what you have know or you have learned before. Okay, so the first one, frequency distribution. Um, so frequency ni is a number of observation in a particular class. Okay, frequency tells us how often something happen. Okay, so um, so this is the example of a frequency distribution. Okay, we have a variable kat sini. So the variable is uh, so the variable here is the ODL platform preferred by the student lah. Okay, so this is the variable ODL platform preferred by the student. So it is a qualitative variable. So under this variable, there are the five categories. So they dah classify it into five categories. The UFuture, Google Classroom, Google Meet, WebEx, and instant messaging. Okay, and then for each of the category, kita dah identify the number of students who prefer that platform. Okay, so the number of student ni is the frequency lah. Okay, so for UFuture, we have 470 students who prefer UFuture, 150 students who prefer Google Classroom, 280 students who prefer Google Meet, and so on. Okay, and from frequency, we can also calculate the relative frequency. Relative frequency is equal to the frequency for that category over the total frequency. Okay, so untuk UFuture is equal to 470 over 1,200. Sorry, I think the total here is actually 1,200. Okay, so we get the relative frequency is 0.39. And from the relative frequency, we can convert it to percentage. Okay, we times 100% times 100%. So it will become percentage, 39%. Or we can interpret that 39% of the student prefer the UFuture for ODL. Okay, so that is frequency distribution table. So in frequency distribution table, we just have one variable. Okay, so the second table is contingency table. So we can use contingency table to present the data with two or three variables. Okay, two or three variables. So it is an extension of frequency distribution table. Okay, we have more than one variable. Normally is two or three lah, because more than three, it is hard for us to present it as contingency table. Okay, so we have the variable and then we classify the variable into its attributes or sub-variable. Yeah, so kita tengok contoh. So the first one, this one, we classify the tadi daripada data, first yang frequency table, we just identify the number of student who prefer each of the platform. Okay, and then untuk contingency table, the first contingency table here, we classify the student into gender, male and female. So for you future tadi, the total number of students who prefer you future is 470. And from 470, there are 200 male student and 270 female student. Okay, so we have two variable here. There is ODL platform and also the gender of the student. Okay, so these two are qualitative variables. Okay, so, and we can also present uh, the data with three variable, or we can classify the data into three variable and present it as contingency table. Okay, so tadi from ODL platform, the first variable we have ODL platform, and then gender, male and female. Then we classify lagi the attribute there or the sub variable. We classify lagi the student. We divide them into degree and diploma students. Okay, so ada three variables here. The course, the level of study, degree or diploma, the gender and the platform that they prefer. Okay, so this will be the three variable contingency table ataupun three-way table. Okay. So dot chart, we have pie chart and bar chart. And bar chart pun kita ada three types of bar chart. Okay, we will discuss three types of bar chart. The simple bar chart untuk present one variable of data, or we present the frequency distribution. Okay, kita boleh guna simple bar chart. Untuk multiple, the second one is multiple or cluster bar chart. We used to present two or three variables of data ataupun we present the contingency table. Okay, and then we have stack or component bar chart. So stack or component bar chart ni normally we used to present two variables of data or contingency table or two-way contingency table. Okay, so kita tengok contoh simple bar chart. From the data yang ODR platform preferred to. So this is 1,200 Okay, so from this data, we can present it into a simple bar chart. Okay, kita just ada one variable. The variable is the platform. Okay, so the ODR platform tu dekat X. And the frequency, the number of student, the frequency dekat X. Okay. So maybe dia jadi vertical simple bar chart lah. You can also draw the bar chart as horizontal bar chart, boleh juga. So kalau horizontal bar chart, the variable will be at Y and the frequency will be at X. Okay. So senang je nak construct bar chart ni. Cuma first you kena tentukan dia punya scale lah. The scale of the chart. Okay, not too small and not too big. Okay, so your chart tu mesti fit into the graph paper. Not too small or too big sampai tak muat graph paper pun tak boleh juga. Okay, so dia punya yang penting dia first you kena label. Okay, label the variable. Okay, x axis tu apa, y axis tu apa, the frequency, and then mesti ada the title lah. Okay, title. And then each of the category tu pun kena label jugalah. The future, classroom and so on tu kena label juga. Right? Because we want, when we construct the chart, we want that our chart represent all the information available. Meaning that kita tak payah nak tengok dekat apa table tu, dekat the frequency table, kita just refer pada bar chart tu, kita dah nampak semua information. Okay, so mesti ada semua lah, the axis, the label and the title. Right. The second type of bar chart, multiple multiple or cluster bar chart. Okay. So this bar chart we use to present a contingency table. Okay. So sama juga macam tadi, you can do a horizontal or vertical bar chart, boleh. So kalau vertical, frequency is at Y. Okay. The category is at X, or the variable is at X. Okay. So untuk from this chart, we classify the X to first into platform, the ODL platform, and for each of the platform too, we classify the respondent into male and female. Okay, so you must differentiate lah between the male and female and letak dia punya key dia. Okay, and lagi satu mesti ada the title and label the axis here. Okay, so Y ni is number of students. Okay, and X ni is the ODL platform. Right. So the third bar chart, okay, the third type of bar chart is type or component bar chart. Sorry. Ini salah. Stack or component bar chart. Okay, so kalau multiple bar chart tadi, multiple bar chart, the subcategory or the sub variable tu, bar dia kita letak dekat sebelah. Okay, so ini multiple or cluster bar chart. Untuk stack bar chart, the sub variable or the subcategory tu kita letak dekat atas, kita stack dekat atas the another bar. Okay, so it become a stack bar chart lah. Okay, so stack bar chart ada dua. Kita boleh present dia as frequency or number of student tadi, ataupun kita boleh present dia as percentage of student. Okay, so kalau percentage, first we must convert all the frequencies into percentage and then baru kita draw the bar chart lah. So untuk percentage stack bar chart, kita akan dapat all the bars equal height. Okay, semua sama 100% height dia. So kalau frekuensi tu dia akan jadi different height lah. Okay, so depends on the question, what type of bar chart it tell you to construct. Kalau dia minta frequency stack bar chart, you draw the frequency. If percentage, you need to convert the frequency to percentage first. Okay. Okay, so last one untuk qualitative data. Untuk qualitative data presentation, we also can use pie chart. But for pie chart, we can only present one variable data. So for example, the first data tadi, the ODL platform, the frequency distribution. Okay, from the frequency distribution, we can present it as pie chart. Kalau from contingency table, kita tak boleh guna pie chart, kita kena guna bar chart. Okay, so tadi kita dah ada the total, the frequency distribution of the ODL platform. Okay, kita dah ada frequency and relative frequency. So daripada relative frequency ni kita boleh convert dia jadi percentage lah. So this is 39%, this one is 13%, 23%, 10% and 15%. Okay, and then to construct the pie chart, we also need to know the angle of each of the category. Okay, angle ni because kita nak just agak lah dia punya portion tu, how big is the portion. Okay, untuk draw the pie chart tu, kita nak agak je dia punya portion tu besar mana. Okay. So we know lah kalau more than 90 angle dia, more than 90 degrees, the portion should be more than a quarter. Kalau more than 180 degrees, the portion should be more than half of the chart. Okay. Right. So untuk pie chart, kita kena label the title, and then for each of the pie tu, for each of the category tu, kita kena present the percentage. Okay. Pie chart kita mesti present the percentage. Present the percentage. Okay, because ramai yang buat mistake. Pie chart ni dia tak tulis the percentage, instead dia tulis the angle or the frequency. Tak nak kita nak the percentage. Okay. Senang je nak draw pie chart ni. You can tak payah guna the protector or just freehand, okay, asalkan dia bulat or lebih kurang circle, janganlah sampai jadi triangle ke or other shape, lebih kurang je circle, and the portion tu pun kita just agak je lebih kurang, how big is the portion for each category. Right, so kita dah habis lah untuk qualitative data presentation. Next week we will continue with the quantitative data presentation. Okay, and first first you can do this exercise, okay, to sorry. Okay, try to answer this exercise first. Okay, we will discuss this exercise before we start with quantitative data presentation. Alright, so that's all for this week. Assalamualaikum.